It is a Saturday morning. On this particular Saturday morning, Sarah, Tim, Joe, Faye, and Bob are all gathered around a round table in Bob's living room. Bob has a 4-section folded out piece of cardboard in front of him because he's the dungeon master. Meanwhile, Sarah, Tim, Joe, and Faye are the players in a enrapturing game of Dungeons & Dragons. But as they sit there, Bob isn't Bob. Bob is the dungeon master. Bob is every character and monster that the players are going to meet throughout their times playing Dungeons & Dragons together. And Faye's no longer Faye. She's Fiona the cleric who uses her divine magical energies in order to heal her allies and in order to defeat the forces of evil. And Joe, no longer Joe. He's no longer the mechanic at the local car shop. No. On Saturdays, he's Brutar, the half-orc barbarian who uses a giant two-sided axe to slice through his enemies. And Tim's not an accountant on Saturdays. He's Sly the Rogue. Pickpockets, backstabs, lies his way into bad situations and gets everybody out. And Sarah. Sarah is no longer a CNR on Saturdays. She's Sheila the Paladin, a holy warrior who uses divine energies to smite her foes down with her sword and shield. The game I am talking about is Dungeons & Dragons. It is a tabletop role-playing game, which means that groups of players get together and tell a collaborative story. They feed off of each other's ideas and their actions inside of the game. And unlike any other type of game out there, D&D is easy and accessible. And the group of people I just described could be you too as well playing D&D. And for the price of $49.99 MSRP, you too can have this book called The Player's Handbook, which is what you need in order to start playing D&D. And if you've never played D&D before, don't worry. You're about to find out why you should. D&D is the most accessible game out there for tabletop role-playing games right now. And it's pretty inexpensive. So why not play a D&D? First off, D&D is more of a one-time investment. While there are several books out there published for Dungeons & Dragons, most of those are adventure books. Most of those provide supplemental information that you might not need, such as this book here called Mordenkainen's Tome of Foes. Mostly for Dungeon Masters, not for players. And unlike video games, where you have to buy the initial video game for about $60 to $70 nowadays, you only need to buy this Player's Handbook here if you plan to play the game. And it is a one-time investment. You only need to buy this one book to have the treasure trove of information and the rules that you will need to play this game. Also, the fun of Dungeons & Dragons doesn't end. You might meet once a week or twice a week with 2 different groups to play D&D, but everybody keeps the ball rolling. You're not just walking around aimlessly, slashing at shrubs and enemies to get rupees to buy more arrows and bombs. No. You instead are meeting with a group of friends and you are completing tasks together. You're problem solving. You're taking on challenges that mortals couldn't even face. And on top of that, D&D also teaches people how to break out of their shell and improves critical thinking. So for $49.99, you get more than just this book, ladies and gentlemen, yes. You also get tools to help you become a better you over time. And that's a very powerful thing. I believe you would not get that by purchasing a $60 to $70 video game on your Xbox One, PS4, Nintendo Switch Lite, or even your rigged up gaming computer. You get that by interacting with other people and contributing to the same experience. Also, there are many ways to play Dungeons & Dragons. Dungeons & Dragons is in fact a tabletop role-playing game, so assumedly you would think by that nomenclature that you would be playing the game around a table. But there's other ways to play the game. You can play online. You can go to Roll20.com, make a free account, and join a game and play online for free. You can also use a free app called Discord, where you're able to use voice chat and video chat with other players all around the world. You can also play online with a play-by-post or email, where one person types a prompt and you respond likely and roll your dice online. Another good thing about Dungeons & Dragons is that it's easy to move around. You only have to take your books, character sheet, pen, pencil, and some dice with you around, and maybe a miniature if you want to use a miniature. But the fun of D&D is mobile. You can go, Sarah, Tim, Joe, and Faye can go to Bob's house, or everyone can go to Sarah's house next week and rotate where they play D&D. So, another good thing about D&D is that there's a lot of material out there, but you do not have to buy it all. Now, I said that this book is $49.99, but there's two other books that go along with this one book, and they're called the Core 3. And the Core 3 are recommended for all players to have, but they're not essential. They're just recommended. So, for the same price, you can buy this book called the Monster Manual. The Monster Manual gives you rules on monsters. It gives you a list of monsters and their abilities. And if you are a character that, let's say, can wild shape and turn into an animal or summons animals, you have this handy dandy book with you at all times, just for reference. Last but not least, we have the Dungeon Master's Guide. Doesn't that guy look scary? Sure does. Boo. Dungeon Master's Guide is for Dungeon Masters. It teaches you how to write your own game of Dungeons & Dragons, how to be the rules referee, the storyteller, and the challenges your players face. This book is also $49.99 MSRP. So for the total price of around $150, you're going to get years, decades, a lifetime of fun. Now, playing Dungeons & Dragons has another benefit. The benefit of making lifelong memories with your friends. Playing online computer games, playing video games in general, you might have some brief, fond moments where you defeat a specific boss or you were able to farm a specific piece of loot, which means you killed just a countless number of monsters just to get one item. But Dungeons & Dragons has the benefit of making lifelong memories because you're there in the group, your mind is there, you are participating in this game, and those moments where everybody helps with the same thing in person and it was a very excitable moment or a tragic moment is a very powerful way to forge even stronger friendships. So ladies and gentlemen, you're not just going to pay $49.99 for this book, and this book. No. You are buying yourself into a new journey, a journey of self-discovery, a journey of friendship, a journey of some high points and low points in your adventuring career. You're going to be more than yourself. You're going to be Ragnar. You're going to be Brutar. You're going to be Sheila. You're going to be whatever you want to be. Because, ladies and gentlemen, that's the fun of D&D. You get to play whatever you like in this game. And, ladies and gentlemen, it might seem like a lot for $150 for all three of those books. But that price becomes very inexpensive when you consider the amount of memories and fun you're going to have. So, ladies and gentlemen, simply because of the facts that you can make lifelong memories, have a very portable and accessible game, and not have to worry about constantly buying downloadable content for many months and years after this was published back in 2014, very smart investment. So that is why, ladies and gentlemen, I urge you to buy Into the World of Dungeons & Dragons.